We
Yes, we transition.
So I can get out of hamburger mode. All right. How's everybody doing? Hi. It's that time again. My name is Matt. I'm with HB and Mark. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
We have a lot to talk. Well, we have stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff to talk about.
But you know what's really funny? Well, let's see if we can actually be heard because someone's going to yell at us. Okay, yeah, good. We always, like, whenever we do these, like, big updates, we always, like, talk about them for a minute, and we always say, wow, this is the biggest update we ever did, and everything's so cool and crazy. But I think this time, like, that's actually true. I mean, I think every other time it's true, too, but I think this is, like, the bigger, the real time that we can actually say that. I feel like this has been the most...
Well, considering that we are amping up, it was the largest before the largest, and then before... they are getting larger.
Yeah,
it's fair. Like, every time it's
so
biggest,
it is the biggest. It's just that they were getting larger.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is like what things take time to like develop. Not only us working on the actual game itself, but also the team and figuring out how to actually like work on this game constantly. We're constantly learning lessons ourselves, right? It's not like we have all the angles already figured out. And I think that this update is the product of a lot of risk taking, a lot of really great feedback from you guys, and us, willing to bet the game on what we on the founding principles of the project. It's kind of proven to us that whenever we do that, the results are good, right? Mm-hmm. But it's always scary because the founding principles of the game are usually related to things that are kind of scary, that things might put some strain on players, things that are riskier. So, that's sort of where it was very nerve-wracking going into this update. I think it's been the most nervous I've ever been for a single update because a lot of the safety nets that we had in there, like the port bases, and the whole resource game change, and there's just a lot of there was a lot of like unknowns, And
even before, like, remember that we were talking. I think we talk among each other, talk with you. When we first introduced World Conquest, which was like also a crazy large update for us, and it was like it also revamped the whole game. At least if everything went to crap and like everything and like the whole system shit bad and like everything was terrible,
players hate it.
We would have the event servers that were kind of like our backup.
Yeah.
So like if everything went completely wrong, we could still.
There was no backup this time. So
time we were like, okay, this is the world, like one single world.
Yeah. It was like putting all our chips on the table, and it's not. There's definitely issues, and we're starting to hear from you guys after the first while. But I think that considering the scope of this update, I think a lot went well. And just thinking back, I went to look at a document this morning, Matt, that we started working on at the beginning of the year, and there was some old notes about like, what are the crazy things that we want to try to pull off. And I remember when I wrote some of those crazy things, I didn't even think, they'd even be possible. I just wrote them down because I was like, we should try to shoot for the sky and we'll see where it lands, right? And there was things like completely revamping the world map, building out this like hexagon world where, it's like a seamless world and like, all these hard problems that we had to solve, and we managed to get it all out the door, which is just crazy.
Yeah,
relatively unscathed.
Relatively, I mean, there's been a few hiccups, but I mean, like,
I didn't see a single problem.
In the grand scheme of things, like it's been pretty good. I mean, I'm actually like pretty happy with the state of the maps given the sheer scope of work that we did. Like. A lot more should have went wrong, to be honest with you.
Also, like we have like the population is maintaining, which is really really cool, and
like the war
is going on pretty.
It's going on very strong.
Very strong.
It's always like, obviously, there's a huge update and there's going to be more players than the average. But I think another good thing is that we have a good plan this time. When the sale ends, how to keep things fresh.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that, number of players are going to stay this way. Like, we all have to be kind of like honest and sort of like see where things land. But I think the important thing for us, and we've always said this, and it's always seemed like a strange perspective hearing from the outside. Our goal right now is not to get as many players as we can. And certainly it's nice, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to say it's not nice, but our goal is to make sure that when we get to 1.0, the game is working in accordance with the vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
And really that's the goal, right? And we need players only to the extent that we need players to be able to go in the game and like test out the ideas that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But I sometimes hear these sort of like doom and gloom type of threads, which are, it's like perfectly understandable because
Totally.
Yeah.
a lot of people have been like burned by like other games, right?
Yeah.
But we're not on some sort of like situation where it's like, oh, this is the last sale, and after this we're gonna run out of resources and the project's gonna be dead because there's not a player. Like, we're fine, and we're going to get this game to 1.0, and we're gonna do whatever it takes to like make sure that 1.0 is what it should be, right? So it's like we see it through this entirely different lens, right? Of like, we're just trying to make the game good. We're not even worried about all this other stuff.
Every time someone posts like a Steam charts thing, it just makes
Game's
me
dead.
laugh. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a joke or not, but a lot of people in chat are making jokes about microtransactions and loot boxes. How do you feel about that, Mark?
I guess there's a lot of new.
Oh, is that when we do are we doing the review now?
There's gonna be unskippable ads that happen whenever you transition regions. So expect 3 to 4 minute videos.
For Prime, I think it's gonna be for like Amazon Prime shows. If I'm not mistaken.
I mean, like we can't like
you like lore?
No, okay.
I heard you like lore.
For
not
new
seriously,
players,
yeah.
for like all seriously, for all the new players, people that have not been following us for a while, so the players know that we're joking. We've been pretty adamant about, at least, like for that we don't want any kind of pay-to-win mechanic or loot boxes in our game.
Yeah.
100%. We cannot talk about other companies. They have reasons to do what they do or whatever. But for us, particularly for Foxhole, we're very adamant that that's not something.
And like the main reason for that is just because we feel like if we did that, we wouldn't be able to make the best game possible. It would be a bit less, and it's already hard making a really good game, especially one that doesn't have a blueprint to follow on. You're sort of trying every day to make the game the best you can. And if you start shoving these microtransactions into the game, you're suddenly handicapping yourself, right? Suddenly you're doing things, you're making decisions that are you're going to question everything. Is this really a good thing for the game, or are we just trying to sell more like skins or something? Right?
Every time that you do something, there's always a compromise on the game. Even if the compromise is, I particularly am against the concept that like, oh, it's only cosmetics. I think that if cosmetics were not important, then like artists wouldn't be necessary for the game and everything would be blocks. Obviously cosmetics are as important. I think that even just cosmetics is not just like, it's still there's a compromise in the game, visuals and ideas and gameplay and progression and whatever. So even cosmetics, sometimes people ask us about like, oh, are we gonna put like skins and stuff like that? I was like, well, not if you can help it.
Yeah, exactly. Long story short is we actually keep things very simple around here. We just try to make the best game possible.
Yeah.
And like really that's it. And we try to remove everything that tries to get in the way of that. And I think that we wouldn't have any other way. Because if it was any other way, it'd just be too much to manage. It's really hard not making a good game.
Oh yeah.
In the end of the day.
But don't worry, we are going to have surprise mechanics.
No loot boxes, but surprise mechanics. You guys are going to be very engaged.
So there's one other thing just I want to address right now. There's also people like going crazy about us being an Epic exclusive. We're already on Steam. I don't think we would be an Epic exclusive. That's not to say we'd never go to other stores.
I mean, how much they're willing to pay?
But
Yeah,
$3 billion
we're already
No,
on
like,
Steam.
so
But
you know,
Mark, yeah.
just to put like a summary over all of that we just talked about. I don't know why we ended up talking about all those things.
Because the chat is going crazy,
but,
Mark.
okay, good.
Yeah, they were asking.
But
They were
to just
asking
sort
us.
of to just put a whole summary over all of that, right? At the end of the day, like we want to keep things simple. Whatever is best for the fans, whatever is best for the game, that's all we're doing. And,
Yeah.
And like where that leads us, who knows, right? It's a crazy world, but thinking of anything else beyond that is just kind of bonkers. So, simple. So on that note,
All right,
we
chat.
should talk about
You've got
some
your answers.
community highlights.
Let's do community highlights.
Okay. Oh, it's been a while since we had community highlight snippets. For the people that are new, every 2 weeks, KFC does a roundup of everything that the community has done for the previous 2 weeks and put them in a neat, beautiful blog post. And during the dev stream, I do a little highlights of some of the things that are gonna come. This one is actually pretty big because we haven't done this in a while. There's some stuff that I think you guys are gonna be pretty excited to discuss as well. So the first things that are coming back is more newspapers, and I like the one by Ollie on the left there, the Imperial Seaven Wardens, the furlough application form. This is pretty damn neat, man. Like
really cool.
the amount of detail and concept that goes into that one, I thought it was so good. And then Potato, if I was not following this one, so correct me if I'm wrong. Potato took with Press Corps, made like a whole newspaper as well. Also, again, several pages and several lots of images, pretty well done. One of the best, I would say, realizations of the newspaper format. We've seen newspaper format before, but this one actually looks like very much so like you could see these on a Foxhole territory, like on a newsstand.
Yeah, I think another thing is the map looks more natural now, which is
That's
looks,
really
actually
cool.
Stamps onto a newspaper. I mean, it's a hexagon, so that's a little awkward still, but
As natural as that can be, but
as natural as a bunch of hexagons can actually be. But I think it's far.
let's say
Better
they
than
like
before.
remove the hexagons and like added the background, like the extended background that we have on the map. You could still you might still see that on a World War II or like newspaper or something like that. But it was pretty neat. So you guys got a chance to read it all, like the whole newspaper, the whole thing, the whole application form in the blog post that is coming up later this week, probably in like 2 or 3 days. Another cool thing. This is really interesting. So
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Lysek? I don't know actually. This piece of artwork from Lysek was done, and everybody thought that it was going to be submitted for the art contest, and it was not. But good God, it's amazing.
I did take a second look the first time I saw this because I didn't know it was custom for Foxhole. I thought
It is
it was like
all original.
I thought it was something else that was like adapted, but when I took a closer look, it looks like all the
No, you can see the
vehicle
tanks.
designs.
Yeah,
are
everything
specifically
is.
for Foxhole.
No, it's all custom, and it's bloody fantastic.
You know what it reminds me of? I might be getting the name of this magazine wrong, but it's like a UK magazine called like 2000 AD.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the old Judge Dredd stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what this looks like to me. The style, like the really like sort of heavy stippling.
The hatching as well.
Yeah, the hatching and really like fine detail.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Mobius in the way that like he does the like all the texturing he does with line. He doesn't do it. He doesn't usually do tone, and that I think it looks really fucking cool.
Mobius is high praise.
Yeah, I know, man. It's one of my favorite artists, and I was blown away when I saw this. I think that if it was in the art contest, this would be like a pretty fucking big contender.
I have a hard time with it. They were like a week late.
Yeah, man, it would have been, I don't know. Anyway, we also had some all cool stuff on the right side there of the screen. Morgan did a couple of illustrations. This is only one of them. I think this is like a mixture of a Warhammer-like character with Foxhole style, which I thought was pretty neat. There's two of them, so you can see both of them in the blog post. And Turtle and Rabbit that has been doing these pixel art, kind of like mobile-like,
It's like Advanced
illustration.
Wars.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
Advance Wars.
It's like Advanced
And he's doing like little animations of like
really
the tank
cool,
working. It
yeah.
looks pretty fucking sweet.
I would
It's like the
love.
Colonial Battle Tank. Looks
I would
awesome.
love to make an Advance Wars Foxhole style.
Oh, can we
game.
do
That'd
like
be
a
pretty
1 week
cool.
mobile game and then
If we do that, it'll be this game.
yeah, man, that would be so sweet.
Yeah. Maybe
Uh,
we'll just release for free.
Oh man, we do like a little game. We do a little game jam in the office. That would be really fucking cool. Another thing, you guys have a chance to read it. There are some comics, but Joanne, Risu. Man, I never know how to pronounce any
Could
name.
be Joan.
Joan.
Sounds like
Yeah.
Joan, but it could be anything.
And there are some comics. They're pretty sweet, pretty neat. I really like the one on the left. It's kind of funny. And also Red Donut did these illustrations for the members of the Narwhals. So each one of the members on the clan got like a unique Foxhole Warden-inspired illustration for their characters, which is pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Warden Navy.
Yeah. They really like the Navy part of the game, so it's very fitting. And last but not
Oh, I
least,
think they're gonna like what we're talking about later. Then,
yeah.
Spoilers, Mark.
spoiler alert.
Last but not least, the one thing that really, really blew us away this week, which is gonna be, you guys are gonna have the link. Oh, I think I forgot to put the link in the description here. Is the map tool, not even map tool, just intelligence and clan tool that Castle did. This is a whole website, like completely like Castle and a lot of people actually helped to make this. This is a website. It has all like the tools necessary for run any kind of operations in game with markers, and you can have like logistic tools to help you like realize how much time things take and what is being built where. You can log in with your clan and like have like a private operation. It is mind-blowing, the stuff that it's in this website. I highly suggest everybody to check the I think it's called Global HQ.
This site like puts the in-game tools to shame.
Oh, absolutely!
It's just so much better than what we have in game.
We were like, can we just embed this in our game?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can make like logi requests. There's like drawing tools, and you can sign in with your Steam account. It's really in depth, and when the team saw it, we were like completely blown away by it. It's a very professional looking site too, and you can tell that a lot of work was put into this. And looking at the credits, I think you can see
the amount of people that were
who people
involved.
worked on it. There was a lot of people who helped out with this. It's crazy. So
Yeah, I think KFC is posting the link on the chat right now. It's a Foxhole/glitch, whatever he posted.
Yeah.
I will for the people on YouTube. I'll put the link on the description of the video. But yeah, I forgot to put it on the screen right now. But it's really sweet. You guys, if you have a chance to check it out, to make your operations there, it is worth it. Yeah. So if you're a new player, again, every 2 weeks, KFC does this blog post in which he picks up everything the community did. We had nothing to do with anything that was shown. It's all the community, and like we put together, we showcase it. This is just like a fraction of the stuff that is gonna be in the community highlights post. So if you wanna submit things, just submit it on Discord, send it to KFC, send it to us. We love seeing this stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot in this last one because it was missed, right?
Yeah, well, the community highlights has
was
been
really
going
busy.
on. Like the blog posts have been going on, but I haven't because of like all the size of the updates, I haven't posted anything. Like, I haven't done any snippets in the dev stream, so this one's a little bit bigger.
Guys, I told you there was going to be no anime this stream. I told you. I wasn't lying when I said it. All right, so Mark.
Oh, you haven't seen the end of the slides, right?
Mark, go ahead.
I'm scared. Anyways, yeah. So as we said in our last stream, I think, or the last couple of streams, that this wasn't going to be the Logi update. This was going to be the Logi summer, right?
Yeah.
Like there's, we said that update 26 was not going to be the end of it, and there's going to be more cool things that are coming that we're working on. And these are things that are going to be right around the corner. I think that no war is going to feel the same this whole summer. Every war is going to feel different, and it's a combination of that. It's going to be the new Logi features that are coming, and also because we're also moving towards a model where we can change as much of the starting conditions of the war on the fly as we can. And the goal is really to make it so that the type of front line that you saw in this war, shouldn't be the same in subsequent wars. We might not get there right away, but it's something that we have the starting point on, and we're going to be moving towards that. So yeah, let's talk about some of the stuff that's going to be coming next month and the month after. First of all, before we get into that, I did want to talk about. I'll run through this quickly because we kind of talked about it a little earlier. But basically, there's a bunch of follow-up work that we have on our plate, and I'm just kind of listing out the things here. So one great thing is that we did break a record. I want to mention this over the weekend that we had 1,500 players in the same world. And we had a lot of players previously, but they weren't all in the same world where you can actually walk to each other, right? So we were in the same LAN-connected world. That was a huge milestone for us, and we're super excited about that.
It's kind of interesting. I had somebody contact me, the person that showed up. He was asking me, it's like, well, so like, is like America's in a different shard and everything, because we had like a huge number of players. I was like, no, man, like everybody's playing
everybody's in the same war.
The same war.
Yeah,
like every single person.
There was 1,500 people. Like, just, it's amazing if you look at the map and just imagine there's like that many people all part of the same war. It's just bonkers to us, and it's really exciting because there's so much that we can do, and but in the meantime, a couple things that are at the top of our list this week. Obviously, there's been some issues with the maps that we're going to be looking into. So, if you come across something that feels like is broken, just make sure you log the bug report, and then we'll take a look at it. We've also been getting some higher than normal issues with connecting to the server, and a part of this was there was a major outage yesterday and on Sunday with some of our server hosts. So there were some problems there. A lot of those problems have been fixed, but there's still some other lingering issues that specific people are having, and we're looking into that now. The other thing is our live operations. Just sort of, we've been working on how to maintain this crazy world from the server and an IT perspective, because just managing all this alone is a huge undertaking. It's something that you guys never see, but I thought I wanted to mention it there because it might be interesting for you guys to know that
we used to do every single map like by hand. Right?
Can you imagine maintaining close to 30 servers by hand now? Jesus Christ!
It just seems like on the outside, like, okay, we just kind of like push this out there and everyone's playing, it's fine, but actually it's like a lot of management on like the back end, and we're sort of working on tools and things to make that smoother, as we've always been, but now more important than ever, or now it's been more important than it has been in the past, just because of the scale, right? And the big thing is that when update 26 went out the door, there's like a lot of last minute hacks that we had to kind of shove in to address a lot of the player feedback that happened at the very last minute, and we didn't want to like ignore some of that feedback. We're like, oh, this is it's important. Players are saying this, so we had to like sort of shove in a lot of changes at the last minute. But we want to sort of like undo a bunch of that and smooth those things over. For example, one of those things is being able to put resources into the shipping containers was one of those last minute things. That's why that whole UI for that seems kind of clumsy, right? So that's something that we're going to try to look into. And brings us to the first thing, which is the resource containers. So first, this screenshot is work in progress. There is no materials on that shipping container on the right, so just sort of keep that in mind. But basically, what we wanted to do was to, totally spilled the beans again. It's my favorite.
I told you.
Is that we wanted to have a dedicated storage container for resources that players can plop down at their resource fields and just kind of throw their resources in there. And then when they're ready, they could be picked up by a flatbed truck. Because people are already doing this with the shipping containers, but there's a couple of flaws with the shipping containers is that they can't be submitted directly into the refinery. So you have to have this like extra step in there that sort of makes it a lot more clunky than it should be. And also there is just something really tactile. Again, going back to that goal of making logistics a much more tactile experience is that when you use this, we want you to feel like you're filling the container as you actually put in that sulfur. We want to actually see the sulfur fill up, and it's a small thing, it's a subtle thing, but I think it adds a lot to those players that are out there spending lots of time in the resource fields. It's just one of those little things that helps to make it not as like tedious of a process, right? And they're going to be a little bit easier to build than the shipping containers, but we're still tweaking those things right now, right? So that's sort of the something you can expect in the near future. And then the next thing, which I already spilled the beans on, is the oil rig. I hear you guys are starved of crude oil out there. So this is something that we have been really excited about even before update 26. Fortunately, something that didn't make it into update 26. So we are working on it now. And I'll have more details on exactly how this is going to work in the coming weeks. But for now, you should know it's going to be a strategic target in the world, and it's hopefully going to bring more life into the island maps, which is great because I'm already seeing a lot more life on the island maps than there has been in the past. So this is sort of gonna push into that more, and should really, we're hoping that these are going to be really valuable targets that players are going to try to secure, because they're going to be key in keeping your armor divisions mobilized. So
I've really wanted oil rigs of some kind, even if they were just like abandoned for a really long time. So I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because even beyond any sort of a gameplay impact, Matt, I think the idea of like an oil rig in Foxhole just seems to fit so well thematically and just makes sense, right?
It also lets me live out like my Metal Gear Solid fantasy or something. But yeah, it's a really cool big piece in the water. Like, one of the big issues with like the middle of the ocean is, like in real life, the middle of the ocean is empty. So having some things out there every so often might be kind of nice too.
Yeah,
this is exciting. I'm excited to put my hands on animating this because I had no idea.
Yeah, and like another cool thing is we really want to look for ways to players to utilize the islands more than they are now, and I think this is just one piece of that entire puzzle, and I think there should be more things to look forward to with regards to that in the future. So yeah, those are two small things,
Nice.
small to medium things that we're working on now, and there's gonna be more. There's gonna be more to come.
There's more stuff that is coming in update 27, right?
Well, this stuff is all update 27, update 28. It's for the summer, right?
Yeah,
So
I was sorry.
just to
I
put
was
that into-
specifically asking about update 27, not if this was going to be an update 27.
Oh, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
That's something that we're still trying to figure out.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. And I think that brings us to live
Q&A.
Q&A. Yeah.
Q&A. If you guys have questions, we probably will have answers. I don't know. Sometimes,
I don't guarantee.
sometimes we do. I have a question. When can we expect the harvester?
Update 27, update 28. We're figuring it out.
Oh, so that's
Yeah.
the answer.
I mean, we just got back after, this is like the first couple of days after our launch week, so we're still shuffling around the schedule, right?
Seek Art asks, why does Tempest have 4 oil wells? Why do Colonials have a bridge for easy access? So real quick, Colonials have a bridge there because Wardens have a bridge on the other side. If you look at the balance of the entire world, it's balanced that way. The reason why Colonials have 4 oil wells is because of RNG. So that stuff is going to be different every war.
Yep.
I think that answers that question. I don't really think there's more to elaborate.
And because Matt is biased.
Yeah.
I'm
so
100%,
biased.
100%.
biased.
But I'm Warden biased. That's the thing.
Actually,
So,
you're right. He is Warden biased, so yeah.
I have a Warden pin on my bag. I don't have a Colonial one. I don't know what that tells you.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ironfire 182 asks, will the resource container hold as much as the current shipping containers or more?
Yes.
These questions are too easy.
Yes.
There's not any good you guys need to ask better questions. I mean, we could just leave no. I mean, if that's all the questions we got.
That's it. Easy to edit.
42 NFL 19 asks, will the oil rigs be in the middle of the ocean or next to the shore?
That's a good question. We are working on figuring out exactly, but we are leaning towards closer to the shore. But to be specific, though, we're talking about like the shores that are out on the islands. We're not talking about like close to the mainland, right? And they're going to be designed in such a way that right now, and some of the stuff is still in flux, but that you will have to do some sort of like an operation if you want to make use of them, right? So yeah.
I guess we're just going to go here.
I mean, there's a lot of questions there. Right?
Yeah, now there's more questions ever since I put out the call. I called them out, so their questions were bad. I can't read this name. Someone asked a while back, you guys released a post with future uniforms like medic uniforms and engineer uniforms. Is that still in the works? And if so, when can we see them in game? How would they work, etc.?
Yeah, they're still in the works, but they're not priority right now, and you probably won't be seeing them in the next couple of months, but they will make it into the game. They're definitely coming, just not anytime soon, right?
How vulnerable will the offshore rigs be to artillery fire?
Depends how far they are, right?
Well, they'd be artillery from the shores you're talking about?
I think so.
We could just, if like that's a concern, we could always just put them out of range. But I think that's just going to be.
I think the
based
question
on
is more like,
balance.
do we plan for it to be vulnerable to artillery, or do we plan for it to be inaccessible to artillery?
Yeah, I think that like when it comes to that kind of stuff, we tend to not want to have a black and white type of rule. And I think Matt and I were talking about this yesterday. Like, we sort of want to stay away from any time we sort of head towards these like really harsh rules. The game kind of gets worse. And anytime we sort of leave it more looser, more like open-ended, more sandboxy, the game gets a lot better. And I think that from that standpoint, we don't want to have a hard rule of like, okay, they are in range of artillery, they're not in range of artillery. Maybe they will or maybe they won't, right? Sort of like maybe some will and maybe some won't.
I mean, if there's RNG involved, which there may be, given some of the stuff that we've been doing, like it could be that 50% are some wars, and it could be that 100% are like like right now. I don't think there's an answer to that question, but I think it's entirely possible that could be in range or out of range. That's not a good answer, but.
I think also it's a cooler situation that like you can. Every time you have to assess right?
Where you're going to
Yeah.
build up the oil
Yeah.
rig. Ranger Wyatt asks, why did you guys make the islands so close to the mainland? I liked it when the islands were further away. You might be the only one. That's why we moved them closer.
Well, water has always been like an uphill battle, and I think that the islands at one point we did bring them in closer a while back in the old world, and even then
It wasn't enough.
But I think that something that helped with there's a lot of factors on what has made water a bit more viable now. Than it
Yeah,
has
it's
been
hard to
previously,
point to one, but
is been the removal of the port bases has given players a reason to actually try to take these islands, because previously it'd just be kind of a futile thing, because the port bases will always be superior to anything else that's out there on the islands, right? But I was playing on the weekend, and I was on Oarbreaker, and it was definitely activity. People were like driving their barges around, doing like barge warfare, which was really funny. I think there's some improvements to be made in the combat over water, but right now it's kind of interesting. It's more like pirate type of warfare, where players are standing on their barges taking shots at each other. But that was when the gunboats weren't yet available in the tech tree, right? But if there is one thing that we're seeing, is that water is more active now than it has been before. So we hope to build on that.
So to kind of touch on that question, like, islands have always been a bit of a pain point. I mean, from day one, we originally designed like Oarbreaker without port bases in mind. And then there were port bases, and the map sort of fell apart, and it never really, I think the island maps are actually this war finally kind of getting their due. They're finally getting used in the way that sort of we intended them for the first time.
I think there's still a lot more to go, though.
There's tons, and I mean, the oil rigs is a really good push in that direction. More tools, things like that. But I'm very happy with the direction the islands are going, because it's always been something I've really liked working on. I like making the island maps. I like working on the island maps. But that's why we made them more like peninsulas as opposed to, and like archipelagos as opposed to just like far away islands, because I think they fit the whole gameplay loop a lot better.
Yeah.
Lek asks, when will we see any kind of water CV or any kind of way to build defense platforms on the water as a way not to make water safe, but give naval areas small shelter during travel?
Or like raft places that you can put
Right.
like Foxhole there.
There's no immediate plans for that, but I'd like to hear more about that. I think that one thing that is that we probably don't want is that we don't want water to just turn into land, because then what's the point of it being water, right?
Oh.
But I don't think, and land has a lot of like unique issues when it comes to that stuff. Like, we just suddenly added platform. People would just build them at like the edge of the map and block ships from trying to like get in. So there would definitely be a lot of issues to sort out if that were to happen. But I don't think it's out of a question. I think we just need to see how it's going to fit in, right?
Also, it's kind of cool, in my opinion, that like, for instance, something like an oil rig, assuming that's how it's going to work, it could be like a high risk, high reward, because they're so much harder to defend. You have to have active players with Gambo, like with naval support there, like a presence there all the time, instead of one person being able to just like do their...
Exactly. I think one thing that is a cool idea to us in concept is like water forts, platforms, mobile harbors, and things like that. Without getting into anything specific that we might be working on, they're just sort of the things that are cool to us, right?
Aldeler asks, why did you guys take away the loss of upgrade parts when destroying mines / FOBs? It makes partisan work a lot less impactful compared to before. I think partially you might have answered your own question.
loss of upgrade parts from
Destroying mines and FOBs.
destroying mines and FOBs. I have to take a look at that one. That could possibly be a bug or could have been a consequence of some other change. So I have to look back on that and sort of see what happened there. Yeah. If I have to be honest. I don't know at the top of my head.
Meme for days asks, any plans for Navy or naval combat?
Hasn't it been the last
Yeah, isn't that what we've been talking about?
Yeah.
everyone
so.
wants like a improvement in water now.
Water is important now, I guess.
Water is important. Yeah, I mean that's something that I just had a meeting this morning about it, and I think on top of like naval content, really utilizing the islands more, I think is something that we really want to see, and we really also want to push into this idea of giving players more sandbox tools to build and things like that. Like we sort of, the one big lesson that we learned from this update is that when we just give you guys the tools and then we sort of like get out of your way, that's when it works out the best. But when we try to like control things too much, then you lose a lot of that like player like agency, right? Like for example, these like shipping containers, right? At one point we're like, okay, should it be stackable? Should they not be stackable? Should you be able to just place them anywhere? Should you not be able to place them anywhere? And in the end, we made the right decision, I think, just saying, you know what, let's give players a maximum amount of like freedom as possible, even though we were worried about like the abuse, right? And this is something that Matt and I were talking about yesterday on the subway. We basically were like, you know what, like we should always aim to give players more freedom first, and if it's broken, we'll fix it. If they finally exploit something way too cheap or something that changes the balance of the game in a negative way, we'll just fix it after that. I mean, it might suck when we fix it, and you guys probably won't like it, but we would rather steer in that direction, right? But going back to the question about more water stuff, I think these like islands would be really cool places that, just sort of thinking in my mind, like players, if they can go on these islands and like make their own like bases and sort of be able to spend a lot of time there in sort of using these islands as like a canvas where they can like.
Are you tying this to the building update?
Building update's far off, guys. So let's not start that. We've been through one big update. A building update we'll start talking about a bit later on down the road. But I think that we'd like to hear if there's certain like water vehicles that you guys want to see. We'd like to hear about it because I think everybody here is excited about water, right? It's always something that we're excited about.
Also, we're working on some water stuff, so visuals. Just as a little bit of
cool.
a little bit of a
maybe you
sneak
can
peek.
show that in the blog next week.
Yeah, I can show a little bit. It's going to be a while before it's done because I don't have time to work on it constantly. But anyway, couple people are asking when can we expect clan features like inviting and managing clan members, adding a clan tag, so that we don't have to change our Steam name.
So I think that we want to tackle this like original. Okay, so to be honest, our original plan was let's wait till like 1.0, right? But I think enough people are talking about it that we might consider working on some of that stuff a bit sooner. But a lot of that's just there's just so much to be done. But I think what we could do is maybe we can talk about it and figure out what are the low-hanging fruits, what are the key things that you guys want there. Obviously, the clan tag sounds like a huge one, and we've heard about that so many times, so that's kind of like a no-brainer. Maybe there's some other cool things that we can figure out how to sneak in there too, because there was a rumor a while back that we don't like clans, and no idea where that started, but because we don't work on something right away, it doesn't mean we don't like it, right? But I would like to start chipping away at some of these clan features. I think we talked about it this morning. Someone was talking about it on the team, and there was some random like brainstorming about giving people giving the clans like a recruitment tent at the home regions. So we do, so like we do talk about this kind of stuff. It's not like we're just like we don't care about clans. Like we're literally talking about it just a few hours ago in this morning, right? So yeah.
Ericus asks, what about all these forts? I think we can all agree that there are too many.
Forts, right?
Can you explain a little bit why we have forts? Because I feel like it has been something that I've had to put the word out on because I get yelled at a lot. I get blamed for it, as the meme has shown. And
we all
understand
know
that
we should
it is
blame KFC instead.
it is KFC's fault. No, it's really no one's fault. It's just a fact that we have to put them in right now.
No, they're there so that regions don't get locked down, so that it's because we don't want the fighting to be at the border, right? That's no one wants to fight at the border. It's really dumb. Like you're not fighting people. You're struggling with like, trying to spawn on the other side and all that stuff. We really want to push the fight to be in the region, and the forts have been our solution to that problem for a very long time. But I think that we will come back around and take another look at the forts at some point in time. As you've seen in the past, we have ever since World Conquest started, we have been coming back around and like addressing these things that we said we would, right? The latest being the port bases. Took us a while, but we eventually got there. And I think the forts is something we're going to take another look at eventually. And I think the infinite spawns is another thing we're going to come back around and try to slay that beast at one point. I think we all like, what's the really thing that I really like about this update? It's not even about like what we worked on or what features are in it. It's that I see an excitement in you guys when we do the things that we think is scary that no one else is going to like. Right?
Yeah.
And then we do it, and then you guys like it, and we're like, okay, well that's good. Maybe we should, it's just sort of like infinite spawns, right? Like it's a scary thing. Like, oh, is it gonna be too hard for the new players? Is it gonna, suddenly people are not gonna have enough supplies? Scary, right? But we find it exciting. We find it exciting if there wasn't this magical spawning mechanic. But so one day we're gonna have to make that change, and we're more confident now because we know that like you guys like those kind of changes, right? So, yeah.
Minibar asks, will you connect all rivers for region travel from Farinac Coast to Endless Shore? I'm pretty sure you can already do that.
From where?
From Farinac Coast to Endless Shore.
Farinac close to Endless Shore. Is that not possible?
I'm pretty sure it's possible. It's not a straight line. No, we're not going to do a straight line again. That weird like Panama Canal thing didn't make sense.
It's possible that they're talking about a bug or something that might be preventing that. So
maybe we can if you're not able to travel through the river, then like submit it in a bug report.
Yeah. I mean, I traveled during testing. That's all I did. So I'm pretty sure you can do it. It's not necessarily meant to be easy to go from one side of the country to the other in a river on a boat. If you think about just saying that out loud, like that kind of makes sense. But it should be possible. I think that was like the intention. So we're gonna just ask one more question. Actually, I'm gonna ask a bunch of people were asking if we're gonna allow barges to decay because there's a lot of barge spam, I guess.
Yeah. There isn't.
People are asking for decay now.
So they don't like decay in the same way that structures do, but there is something that is in there that there is an algorithm that finds barges that have been abandoned for a long time, and it gets rid of them. But it's really like
hands off. Almost.
It's meant to be like I have to get back to the specifics. I have to remind myself of the specifics of it, but I believe if it's something like, if a barge hasn't been touched for like 48 hours and no one walks near it and it's clearly off in like the corner of the world, right? Then it gets rid of that. That's something that is probably helping with some of that. But if it's becoming more of a problem, then and we keep hearing about it more, then maybe we can look into further.
And maybe more aggressive algorithm or something.
More decay.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd hear that from the
I know,
community.
right?
You guys heard it here. You guys want more decay, right?
They opened the Pandora box, huh?
Last one.
Yeah. Do you have any plans to address the state of armored vehicle balance? Armored operations are too expensive in terms of logistics and not cost effective. How do you feel?
I think we're keeping a close eye on that. The intention was for them to be definitely harder to procure than the past. But one thing that we are waiting for is sort of to give this new economy a bit more of a shakedown. And at the completion of the war, we'll take a look at the numbers and we'll see where things landed, and we'll make tweaks if necessary, right? We are keeping a close eye on it. Trust me, we're like reading all the feedback on that.
Also, well, if we have a piece of technology that is more niche in the way that it's very specific in the way that it would useful, so people have to plan more on one particular tactic, and it doesn't work for everything else. That's not necessarily bad. I understand where you're coming from with the question. I'm not trying to dismiss it, but we're also not against having technologies that are like more for more specific cases to be used.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily specifically referring to any specific tank or vehicle. It's just in general, like we may have even new stuff in the future that's even more rare, as an example. But there's different ways to address that too, which is not always, let's just allow everyone to have a tank again. It could be maybe tanks, we make it stronger and then we keep them more rare. Mm-hmm. Or maybe we do allow more people to have them. There's a lot of ways we can go about it, but I think it's too soon still. I think we need to give it at least another week and sort of see where things shake down from there.
The first war, since the update hasn't even ended, so it's hard to really foresee what the tail end of the production and the technology will actually be. At
the same time, to be fair, maybe we got the numbers wrong and
then we'll
it's
have to fix
wrong,
it,
and then we'll have to fix it. In which case we will, right? So it's
cool. HB.
Yeah, so thank you very much, guys, for joining us. We do this dev stream every second weekend on Tuesday, 2 p.m. EST, twitch.tv/Foxhole Game. So you can ask questions live. We'll try to answer them according to Matt, the best ones. But if you can't, join us on Twitch. This is posted on YouTube, and we try to answer, at least on the first day, try to answer questions on the comments below. Otherwise, join us on the Discord, discord.gg/Foxhole, because you can talk to us directly there, actually, which is pretty cool.
I just spent the morning talking in the lore channel. You might learn some stuff. Mark, any last thoughts?
No, we're good.
Cool. All right.
Keep on fighting.
We will see you guys in 2 weeks, and maybe the war will be over by then. And we can talk about that.
It's going to go on forever.
Oh my God, it's never going to end.
Keep an eye out for our dev blog next week.
And community
highlights is this week, right?
Yes, sometime soon.
Yeah.
Cool. And as always, stay Fox.